the problem for them was that they didn't know the number of units that they sold for the company, right? They didn't know how much money they were making in a day. They didn't know how much money to pay an agent at the end of the month, and a lot of other problems. But the biggest problem to them was the lack of visibility of data, and that was a big problem for them because they weren't able to plan out their budget, their sales team, their marketing, and a lot of other things. And they felt that I was in the right position to help them. So that was definitely for any person who is running a company and any person who has invested their money. They would like to see where the money is going, right? So you want to know where the money is going, how much is coming in, and then maybe you want to compare that with how much you put in to see whether it's a viable project. So one of the biggest points for them for data collection was the call center. So they have a call center that sits around, I think, 200 people. So all these 200 people, they are making phone calls to customers, to agents, and even to the logistics partners to know where the products are, because it's not in the cities, it's in the rural areas, so it's deep inside there, right? So there are a lot of moving parts to that. But also one of the things that they had was they had a server where they called it a server, but it was more like a UI where they kind of log all the new customers, the payment terms, and when a customer pays, they're able to see that this customer has paid, and then they provide them with a time code. That time code is going to basically, if you've paid for a week, that time code is going to expire after a week, and you have to pay for it again since it's pay as you go solar, right? So what I did solve the problem for them was the quickest and easiest way for them to understand what basically to get the results, and for me to find a scalable way for them that's going to be easy for them even after I'm done with the consultation, something that they can keep carrying on, was to use Power BI. So with Power BI, I set up the different data sources, right, to kind of become a data flow, so that the data flows into the report, and then when they open it up, they're able to see what's happening, right? And on top of that, I set up alerts for different members of the team. So I set up alerts for the finance team to know to basically they would get an email every day to alert them on what basically the totals of the previous day, and a few other things to be aware of, right? Also on the logistics part, they would like to know whether this product reached a specific area or not without them having to call. So in the next day, they would get that information. And obviously also for the sales team, which was most important. So a sales manager would want to know how their team is performing, right? So a sales manager would have around 50 people in the team. You could make 50 calls in a day, right? But as a sales manager, I'm not sure that's the best use of your time. And they expressed to me that they would like something to alert them on exactly what's going on without a lot of effort there, right? So the process I followed was basically first I needed to understand what these guys needed, right? I already knew the problem was them getting the visibility of the data, but I wanted to dig deep. I wanted to know, what does the sales team want? What does the finance team want, right? What does the logistics team want? And obviously, what does the investor want? So to kind of scope out, do I need to set up different reports and dashboards for each team, or could I use just one dashboard for the entire team? So that was the process I followed. So most definitely in a project like that, since it's something that's being consumed by other people, you'd like to see their level of understanding and their data literacy, right? Are you going to go with simple visualizations that they're able to pick up and understand, or something a little colorful, right? Which could give you a lot more information in one click, or rather in one view. So for this problem, there was very little machine learning involved, and the only machine learning part that was involved was basically creating it was a time series forecast, basically to forecast some of the key metrics such as the sales, the sales in numbers, like the number of units sold, and obviously the amounts sold. And also we explored a bit on categorizing customers, basically from their data and their payment patterns. We used things such as their locations, how many times they've called the call center, and a lot of other metrics to decide to basically try and predict if this customer is a high risk customer or a low risk customer. So a high risk customer is one who might not be able to complete the payment. Yes, just thinking about it, it was a really fun project actually. So for the impact of the project overall,